What's up?
What's up?
What's new with you?
Well, I was just looking up the candy bar that sells the most in the world. What do you think it is?
Candy bar,
Yeah, like a chocolate bar.
meaning chocolate.
Yeah,
Why do they call it a candy bar? It's
I don't know because it's
chocolate. It's a
candy. Well, it's
chocolate.
still candy.
I never call a
That's
chocolate
an
bar.
American thing, actually. And Americans call it candy bars. We call it chocolate bars.
Yeah, I'd never call it a candy bar. Okay.
Just take a while.
Kit Kat.
Close. Same company. Snickers. They produce,
Uh,
listen to this one. They produce 15 million Snickers bars a day.
wow.
Yes, annual sales 380 million.
Wow, wow, wow.
They even in Canada they sell 6 million a year. 6 million Snickers bars a year. Figure that out.
You know
All right,
what?
that has nothing to do with tennis, but I just thought it was interesting.
You're a treasure trove of information.
Well, now I am after I looked that stuff up.
And what,
All right.
yeah,
What about that ladies match today?
nice
Sabalenka
work,
against Goff.
Sabalenka.
Pardon me?
Nice work, Sabalenka.
Yep, yeah. It's, it's just, I didn't see a lot of it, but I saw some of it. And you see Sabalenka's just a beast, and I don't mean that in a negative way, but she's a beast compared to Goff,
The
who's like
beautiful beast.
a normal athletic person, but she's just overpowering.
Yeah.
Anyway, is that enough about women's tennis?
Yeah, I think Sabalenka's basically asserted herself now as the dominant female. I think she's just, what do you make of that? Swiatek versus Sabalenka.
Well, Sabalenka's just too powerful and too tenacious. I don't know what's happened to Swiatek, but she seems to, she's gone down a little bit. Who was it that beat her 1-1? That was Goff, right?
Who beat Swiatek? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, 1-1. I think she's beaten her a few times.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it's an interesting era. I thought, when Serena was winning, it wasn't that interesting.
yeah, because now it's just, well, Sabalenka seems like the dominant player, but all the other ones are in the mix. So
Yeah.
it's, anybody can win any of these tournaments.
And who do you think's going to win the men's side?
That's an interesting one. That's Draper against Rude, right?
Yeah.
If I had to guess, I would go Draper. He's playing really well.
Yeah. He's hot right now for
Yeah.
sure.
But it's interesting toss-up.
I
You know,
would go
Rude's,
Draper too.
yeah.
He's definitely the favorite going into it.
Who's the
Yeah.
favorite? Draper?
Yeah, Draper.
I don't know. Though Rude is seated higher, isn't he?
No.
No?
Rude's 14th, Draper's 5th.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah, yeah.
Rude's father was a good player. I remember him. Christian Rude. He
Yeah.
made the top 40 in the world. It's
But
not as high as his son, but
no,
top 40.
the Suns surpassed him for sure.
I think he was number four at one point, Christian Rude. I mean, Casper Rude.
Yeah, I think so too. I think Rude was number two actually at one point.
Yeah, could have been. He was winning some
I
tournaments, I
think he
know.
was number two. I think back in a few years ago, he was number two, a couple of years ago. Yeah,
Now,
he made a US Open final, I think in 2022, and I think he made a French Open final too. So he's a good clay court player.
mhm. And Sinner's coming back for the Italian. That should be interesting.
Yeah, yeah. You know what? I think Draper, just on his hot streak, he's the favorite. But in terms of who's the better career clay court player, it's Rude.
But I think Rude's ranked higher, isn't he? Like, isn't
No,
Rude still like 10 in the world?
no, no. I'll tell you right now. He's 14th seed in this tournament. He's 15th in the world.
Rude. And what's Draper?
Sixth.
Oh wow, so he's coming up, so he would be the
Yeah, well,
favorite.
he's had good results. He just won. Where did he just win?
He didn't win Monte Carlo, I know that. Did he win
No,
Miami?
no, Mensik won Miami.
I don't know, but he did win
Indian
something.
Wells?
I know I saw
Yeah,
that.
he won Indian Wells.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
Hard court though. Fast
that's a
court.
thousand, but that's 1,000 points right there.
Yeah. That's a fast court, so I don't know. I think still Rude would have a slight advantage on the clay.
But Draper's hot right now.
Yeah, that says, yeah. So that's the
That's gonna
selling
be
point on
that's
Draper
gonna
is
be the
he's hot.
interesting thing. Yeah.
Yeah, the selling point on Rude is that he's probably a better clay court player. Anyways, interesting.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Very interesting. So what about Sinner for the Italian Open?
Well, that's the thing. Is the time off gonna be a problem? And I
Well, for
think with his
Sin-
demeanor, I don't think it will. He
well,
was
for
able to win. What did he just win? He just won the US Open with all this investigation going on. Wasn't clear what was going to happen. He was able to maintain his focus and win the US Open. He basically got a ticket for 3 months off. Obviously, he'd rather be playing. But I think that time period proved that, his mentality won't be shaken by these outside forces. So I don't think it's going to have much of a problem, much of an effect on him.
Now, the fact that he is Italian, is that to his benefit or his detriment?
I don't think it matters. It
Well,
might
maybe there's a
help a
little
little
more
bit because he's
pressure on him.
familiar I think that's all it is. It's familiarity. I don't know.
Could be a little more pressure on him too, because he's in his home country. He's in
Could be, but you don't get to number one in the world and be affected by those kind of things.
yeah, probably not.
I don't think that makes a difference.
Everybody's dismissing Alcaraz from everything again.
Yeah, because he's proven to be human the last 8 months. It's the thing with, I was thinking about Djokovic the other day, and Djokovic, he came off of a superhuman streak. Grand slams, grand slams. What is he now? 38, 39?
I think he's turning 38 in August. I don't know if it's August, but he's
No, I
he's
think he's old. I think
37.
he's 38.
I say 37. Check it.
Oh, 37. You're right. May 22nd, he's turning 38.
Yeah,
A few weeks.
yeah. But I guess,
But
it's
but
great.
any other era of tennis, you would say a guy like Djokovic is at the top of his game. You would say, you know, Djokovic, he's in the mix for every Grand Slam. You'd say he's at the top of his game.
Yeah, but I think Djokovic, he's still great and he's still in great shape, but I think he's just a touch slower than he was.
I think he's
Making a
slower.
little few more mistakes too.
Yeah, I think
He
he's
would never
slower.
make a mistake before when he was at the top of his game.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think he's just showing that he's human now. I mean,
And then
he's
the
right
question
in,
is, yeah, then the question is, when's he going to retire? Is he content just to be like in the top five or top 10 and not win any more slams?
I don't think so because I think he's spoken about how he wants to spend time with his kids.
Yeah.
Keep in mind he's got a couple of kids who are like 10 and 8 years old. And I don't think he's going to be in it much longer. I think he can hang on to like a top five ranking for the next 1 or 2 years, but at this point, I don't think he wants to stick around. It might be, another 1 or 2 years on the tour, and then that's it.
I think it all depends too how he does in the next, how he does in the French, how he does in Wimbledon, how he does in the US Open. If he bombs out in those three, he may call it.
Well, yeah, he's not gonna, if he bombs out, he doesn't want to be on the
Well,
tour
bombing out for
anymore.
him means not in the first round, but bombing out means he doesn't make the semis.
Yeah, yeah. And keep in mind, he also has Murray on the team now. He doesn't want to keep Murray around, and if he's not winning, he's not gonna want to keep that team together,
Right, exactly. I
right?
think he just likes to hang out with Murray. He likes the guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me show you this video. I want to show you something. Okay, watch this. What's that? There you go.
Nice shirt.
Uh, There's it. Okay.
Who's behind him? Is that Murray?
Get that. There you go. Now that's down. There's Murray. There's Djokovic.
Boy, there's a big difference.
See the difference? Retired versus active.
Yeah. Well, and Murray's not used to working out like that.
No,
Djokovic is.
Paul's on the stairs. Yeah.
I'm going to
You
start
see
doing
the
that.
team dynamic. They're they're a good pair.
Yeah.
I think. How much do you think that matters in a coach?
Well, I think it matters. I think it matters because you got to respect the coach. You got to believe that the coach is 100% on your side, and you want to win for your coach too. I
But
mean,
do
you
you
want to win for
think?
yourself, but that's an added reason to win.
But you can have a great coach and not have that personal kind of relationship with him.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Do you think? I mean, obviously, we've seen benefits with Murray kind of revitalizing Djokovic a little bit. He was struggling, brought Murray on board, had a couple good results. I think it's a benefit to a player.
Yeah. And of course,
You want to that's probably one of the most overlooked aspects of hiring a coach is do you get along with them on a personal level?
you have to get along.
Can you have a conversation beyond tennis strategy and drills? Can you joke with them? Can you
Yeah,
laugh with them?
you have to get along and you have to trust the coach completely. You don't have to believe everything he says, but you have to have some dynamic there where you really believe his opinion, where you value his opinion.
Right. I think it all relates to a positive mentality.
Mhm.
You want to associate tennis positively, and you're not going to do that if you don't get along with your coach.
Yeah. I think Djokovic is in a good place with Murray.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too. And I think it's prolonging his career. If he can find that, I mean, look, he's been through every conceivable scenario that you can as a tennis player. How do you keep it interesting? How do you keep the career going and keep it
Mhm.
fun? I think he's found that with Murray.
So if you had to predict now, when's Djokovic's last tournament? It's a prediction because you
2027.
don't know how he's doing in the next few.
2027.
Yeah,
Won't play beyond
I
2027.
say the latest he goes is the Australian in 2026. It's right at the beginning of
Wow.
2026.
I don't see him giving up that easily.
Well, and again, like I said before, depends how he does in the next three. He's not going to, I don't think he's going to go on forever. He has to realize himself
Yeah.
that, okay, I'm not quite as good. I'm still very good, still competitive. I'm not quite as good as I was.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Speaking of saying goodbyes to tennis, did you see the news from Roger Federer?
No,
He said, because, people don't realize how bad Roger's knee was when he was playing that Laver Cup. When he played the doubles with Nadal, he was hiding crutches from photo ops.
right, right.
He was on crutches. That knee was finished. And he barely made it through doubles. People close to him and close to the team who knew how bad his condition was, they weren't even sure he was going to make it out for the doubles with Nadal. So his knee was in a terrible shit condition. And he didn't get to say goodbye the way he wanted to, that Laver Cup, that doubles match. So he's now come out and said his knee's doing better and he's going to start training again, start playing
Really?
tennis. And yeah, and he said he's gonna make a return not on the pro tour, but do a tour of exhibition matches. So he's
Nice.
probably gonna, I do one in England, probably at Wimbledon. I wouldn't be surprised. Switzerland, I'm sure he'd go to Spain, but play against Nadal in Spain. I'm sure that would be a big match for him. It would be interesting. Now, let's say you have three Federer return matches, exhibitions. Who would you want to see? Let's say he has three different opponents. Who would you want to see him play in the exhibition?
Could it be a doubles?
Let's say he's just doing a singles match, best of three,
Okay, so I'd like to see him play Nadal, of
of
course,
course. Yeah, in
and
Spain
and I'd like to see him play Djokovic.
at Wimbledon. I think
Yeah,
Djokovic,
yeah, yeah.
because he had that last great Wimbledon in 2019. I think that would be a great one on grass. So he plays Nadal on clay, Djokovic on grass. You know what I'd love to see actually? Sell out New York, sell out Arthur Ashe Stadium, do Federer versus Roddick.
Yeah, that would be good too.
Yeah.
That
Or
would
maybe
be good
You
too.
can get Agassi out. But I think
What, on the
Roddick.
pickleball court?
I don't think Federer is going to play pickleball.
But I would add to the mix. I would see add a doubles to the mix and put in Andy Murray with those guys.
Wow, that would actually be a
Andy
great double
Murray and Djokovic against Nadal and Federer.
against Nadal and
Except
Federer.
Nadal
Yeah.
and Federer would be laughing too hard all the time.
Well, they were serious in that Laver Cup one. They wanted to win. I think, they wanted to win decent amount at least.
Okay, so your prediction for Djokovic is he makes it through 2027 or into
No, he
2027.
makes it into 2020. So I can't say he's going to make it through 2027, but he'll make it into it.
Okay.
Because I
So
don't see him slowing down. There are no signs of him slowing down right now. He's got the knee injury, but he's playing through it.
well, there's the other factor, the injury. At some point, he
The
may say,
body's going to
I'm
break
not going to
down.
get injured anymore. What's the point? So he can win a few more matches.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's what you saw with Nadal. Nadal said he still had it mentally, he still wanted to play, but his body just couldn't anymore.
Mhm. And those guys too, if they can't play at the top of their game, what's the point? They've proven themselves already.
Right, of course.
Why be hobbled because you want to play another match or two? Anyways, there's my prediction. You've heard it that possibly his last match is going to be the Australian Open, but he could stop before then.
Yeah. Okay.
All
We'll
right,
see.
good.
Time will tell. Time will tell. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. I want to share with you a few more videos that I've picked out. Okay. So keep in mind, this is a good one, actually. Speaking of Djokovic and mindset, and he's going to keep going. I loved this video, and I feel like a lot of people need to hear this message.
Tells you, you're living in your imagination. Don't dream. This is not reality. Sorry for my language, but that's bullshit. Because the dreamers made the world as it is today. It's true, right? The biggest names in the history of our world are dreamers. People who imagine the world to be a better place in one way or another. Nurture and maintain this imagination. Whoever tells you.
So, I mean, that I love that. I love that. I don't think you get to be a champion at that level and not have that imagination. You have to imagine a reality that is not conceivable to the average person.
You have to have that confidence that you can do it.
Exactly. But even if if you took Djokovic, I'm sure he had that belief at a young age. You take people who become champions, they don't start off as champions, and I think especially in tennis, there's so much competition you have to have just something inside you that can imagine a reality that other people can't conceive to
I
make it
believe
to the
that.
top.
I believe that because when you look at it, your odds are so small that
Yeah,
you have to believe, you have to dream, you have to believe that you can
yeah,
do it.
yeah.
Because if you start to look at this stuff, okay, there's thousands and thousands of very competitive players, and here you're just another guy.
Right. Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Anyways, good for. Well, also he's probably worked harder than anybody else on his
Well,
game.
yeah, I mean, who would imagine that at his point, 37 turning 38, he'd be playing at the level he's playing right now.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
something he had to imagine. He had to
Exactly.
imagine it was possible for him to do that.
Yeah. The thing is though, all the slams are all 3 out of 5 sets. Is can he sustain that playing in 7 matches over 2 weeks in each of those 3 out of 5 sets with his body? Even though he's in great shape, he still is 37. He's not 21.
Right. Yep, yep. You got to manage it. I think that's what Murray's going to help him too, because Murray was playing up there in age too. I mean, there's two guys, two very smart guys putting their head together.
Hey, there's a
But
video I'd like to see. Andy Murray's honest thoughts on pickleball.
oh, hold on, this stupid bar. There we go. It's currently unavailable. Okay, it expired. Basically, he says he doesn't like it. You know. Okay, people pulling out of tournaments because they're slightly injured. What do you have that mentality versus this one?
So the leg's not really broken, huh? No, it is broken right here. Just a hairline fracture, though. No, it's a clean break. Slight, though. Slight? No, it's broken. Broken, or just broken? So the leg's not really broken,
So
huh?
when you're injured but
No,
still
it
want
is
to play
broken, right?
tennis. So I mean, it's I think when you were playing, things were a bit different. Am I wrong?
Different in what way?
That you really had to be injured to not play.
Well, I think it's true for some players now too. But I think what they do, even in my day, I remember, of course, I wasn't at that level, but I remember people pulling out of the Canadian Open like crazy because it was pretty close to when the US Open is. And they would do it like in droves. All those guys couldn't have been injured, but they're figuring, we don't really care about the Canadian Open. I don't want to be even slightly injured to have to play the US Open.
Yeah.
So any niggling pain of any kind, they would pull out.
Which is smart, but then you get a guy like Nadal. I mean, these guys battled injuries. Djokovic battled injuries. Federer battled injuries. Nothing. I don't think Federer on Federer's end there was anything too major until the end. But these champions battle through injuries.
Well, the thing is that they want to win the majors, especially when you get to the higher
Yeah.
levels. But then you got to consider, I mean, there's tennis fans too. There's Canadian tennis fans that have bought their tickets. They want to see the good players. Now they're all pulling out. I think that's you have to consider that. I mean, it's your
Yeah,
livelihoods, the fans.
for sure. Okay.
Anyways, I wasn't in that position, so I don't have to worry about it.
I found so last week I showed you Federer and Elmo.
Yes,
I
that
found
was
an
great.
extended video, some different parts. I just want to show you. I think it's a good note to end on. Okay. Ready?
Yep.
One. Are you feeling good? Yeah, a little nervous, actually. Oh, really? Go! Paper! Oh. Scissors. 1-0. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome. Love 30, Love 15, Love all. Aw, Elmo loves everyone too. If the other player also has 3 points, it's juice. What? Yeah. Juice? What kind of juice? Apple? That's not it. Paper. Rock. One. Can you put that on there? It's the rock. Cranberry. I don't know what kind of. No, it's not a juice. It's juice. Looks like on, right? Oh, thank you. How were you looking at it before? Like this. Three.
So funny. I don't know why that I find that hilarious.
Maybe next week we'll show the Nadal Federer attempt at a commercial.
Yeah, let's do a reaction to that.
That was so funny. So
Yeah,
funny.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's wrap it up there. We're gonna see the
good.
finals tomorrow. Rude versus Draper. Looking forward to it.
Yeah,
And then we got to talk about, we'll recap that in the next episode. And then we've got to talk about the Italian Open, obviously.
for sure. Okay, final prediction on tomorrow men's and how many sets it's going to be.
Me first?
Yep.
Okay, I'm gonna go 3 sets. Draper wins.
I kind of agree with you. Draper in 3.
Okay. All right, guys, there you
Good
have
night.
it. Thanks a lot for watching. Leave a
Okay, bye
comment, like,
everybody. By the
subscribe.
way, seriously, how's this color on me?
Terrible.
Oh, okay.
All right, have a good one, everyone.
Okay, bye everybody.